Not enough.
Does Jason, can you speak something? Test, test, test. Test, 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 test. 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 You don't want it to scream. Test, test. Okay? I heard that. Welcome. This is the much anticipated Meet Candidates event. We will hear them speak, and then later will be your turn. So hold on. First, I have to do, I'm sure you can read this. And what are you supposed to do if the alarm goes off? I'm not sure what you said. Oh, good. Okay. The nominating committee. Wayne Lavender, Halima Hassan. You're not even waving? Come on. Sharon Raphael. And Sue Gilder. And myself. Had an interesting year. You think there's nothing to this, and then you start doing it, and it's been fun. There has been quite a bit of misinformation through nobody's particular fault, but anyway, in the Woodland Life. So I'm going to read through this so that I hope it's correct. Everybody listen to see if I'm right. Beginning tomorrow at Concierge, you will get your ballot. You will vote for 1, 2, 3, or 4 people. If you vote for 5 and 6 people, your ballot will be thrown out. But you don't, a lot of people have said you have to vote for 4. The answer is no. You can vote for as few as 1, and that vote will be counted. The check, as I said, checking more than 4 spaces will disqualify your vote. Once you finish, and the expectation is that you'll vote right there. You're not going to take it to your room and make copies. So you will vote there, somehow hiding yourself, and give it to the concierge who will put it in the ballot box. We have a sacred, I'm not sure, maybe Paul knows, I don't know where it came from, but it's very special, and it lives at concierge year round. So it will be there available to you. and the concierge will check off your name. We tried something new this year, which turned out to be quite successful, which was absentee ballots for people that aren't here today. And I don't know how many have come in the last couple of days, but I have at least 10 absentee ballots, so that was a worthwhile effort. Questions? All right, now we've argued, well, I'm going to give it to Halima, not divulge our arguments as to who will go first. Thank you, Halima.
Thank you. Good leader, good organizer. It's wonderful to see such interest in such a crowd. You may know that there is a very consequential election facing us in a few days. This is not it. However, this is very important to us. If you believe that all politics is local, these people have thrown their hat in the ring to step up, to want to serve on the council on your behalf, for your interests. So, the way we have arranged it, each of them gets 3 minutes to tell you their entire life story and what they want to do. And our official timekeeper, Sue Gilger, will ring a bell when they have 30 seconds left. We're in no particular order. If you notice, there are 6 candidates, but only 5 play cards. That's because Molly Jones will be with us on video. She couldn't be here, but she did send in a talk. So, after all the candidates have presented, then you get a chance to grill them. So the first person is Larry Randall.
Thank you. I'm just going to stand.
He has one.
I'm going to stand for just a moment here, so that those 3 or 4 people here who don't already know me, because I know almost all of you by name, I will, so you can see what my impressive vidges is like. Then we're going to sit back down and talk. Marla and I came to Woodland Pond in the summer of 2016. Lived for the first 6.5 years in independent living. I then had a stroke early last year, which sent me to skilled nursing for the Medicare prescribed 100 days. During that time, Marla died. At the end of the 100 days, I was promoted to assisted living, where I currently live. My only point to all this is to let you know that I have experienced virtually every side there is to the accommodations in Woodland Pond. And I may, to the best of my knowledge, be the first person to sit as a candidate for the President's Council who currently lives in the health center. If so, great. If not, I apologize for being wrong. In any event, I do like to think that I will be representing everybody who lives at Woodland Pond, not just all of you folks from IL, where I did spend a lot of time, still do, and also everybody who lives in the health center. Now, in addition to that, you should know that I served before on the Residents' Council. First, I filled out an unexpired term, and then I was elected to a full 2-year term. The second year of that, I served as the president of the council. That would have been in 2019, and mercifully, I escaped having to serve during COVID. But I do appreciate those who continued on during that very difficult time period. Quickly, things that may or may not make sense in terms of my ability that I did before ever coming to Woodland Pond. I served for 40 years on the board of trustees of our little public library where we lived. During that time, we ran a very successful $1 million capital campaign to build an addition to the library, which tripled its size. In addition, I also served on the board of the Friends of the Shonkum, which is a local conservation organization, which, among other things, takes credit for spearheading the successful effort to deny Marriott Corporation the ability to build an exclusive and very private resort up where Minnewaska State Park now is. So with that, I will let everybody else who's a candidate have their time. And if there's anything I haven't addressed, or if you have questions about my competence or sanity, you're welcome to ask me later.
Hello, my name is Helen Forenbach. That's pronounced for in back, for those of you that had trouble with it. Also known as the Game Lady, and I have been here at Woodland Pond for almost 2 years. I will give you a very brief bio because I'm sure you're more interested in how I have served this community and what I can do for you. I am from Poughkeepsie, just across the Hudson, and lived there most of my life. I was married to a wonderful husband, Carl, for 49 years, and we had 4 great children. Now I have 9 wonderful regular grandchildren and 1 great-grandchild. I received my bachelor's degree from Mount St. Mary College and did my graduate work here at SUNY New Paltz. I was a math teacher at the junior high, high school, and collegiate level for over 40 years, and I love teaching with a passion. After retiring, I decided to give back to the community by volunteering at St. Francis Hospital, at a local food pantry, and at my church, as well as babysitting for my grandchildren. When I first came to Woodland Pond, I was delighted to meet so many interesting people and all the stimulating things there was to do. As a single person, I also found that there was a need for more socialization in the evenings and on weekends. As a snowbird to Florida, I had acquired a lot of games because game playing was a big socialization vehicle there. So I offered to start 2 game groups, one on Monday night and the other on Saturday afternoon. The only requirement is to laugh a lot and enjoy each other's company. And I welcome you to come and join us because we always have a good time. After learning how to play Mahjong, I got together 3 groups who are now enjoying playing together. I also started a Bible study group and restarted a prayer group that had been here before COVID. As a member of the Yarn Mavens, I have participated in making blankets and shawls for the residents in our health center. I also enjoy singing with the Pondoliers and help them out by serving as one of their librarians. As a member of St. Joseph's Church, I sing in the choir and have served as a Eucharistic minister. I am also a member of the Interfaith Committee. When I see a need, or if someone asks me for help, I am delighted to assist in any way I can. If I am elected, I will listen to your concerns and bring them to the council for your consideration. Thank you.
Hello, good to see you. Ann and I got here 8 years ago, just as Donald Trump was getting elected president. And the next thing that hit us was COVID. And the best part about COVID was some of us became deputies, and we delivered food, and we delivered newspapers. And it was just wonderful to learn where everybody lived. And that has stayed with me somewhat. Very soon after I got here, they asked me to join the nominating committee. And then I became chair of the nominating committee, so I think I did it 3 years. And about that time, Tom Tango approached us and said he needed a group that could help him sound out what he's thinking of doing. And that was the formation of the Physical Plant Committee, and I was its first chairman and have been on it ever since. About that time, I got onto the council, so I did a term on the council, and then I got off. Some people have been asking me, why would you want to go back onto the council? Interestingly enough, my main reason for interest, let me tell you about some of the things I did on the council. Two things I feel that we got to accomplish. One was reestablishing the EARS program, which somehow had fallen by the wayside and has been a very successful program, although I think it can be enlarged. And the other was working on the bylaws and the, what do you call it, the procedures of the committee. That's been rewarding. Okay, but the reason I'm wanting to go back to the council right now is what we are all about to go through, which is renovation and then expansion. This place, some of you were here during the making of the movie, and you saw somewhat disruption, but it was fun. That is nothing compared to the discombobulation which are all gonna go through in the next year or so. We had a meeting this morning about the garden committee where it's gonna move, and we had some input. I'm just looking forward to having a lot of input and exput, whatever that is, getting back to you about what's going on and getting your words to us on the council so we can get it upstairs to the administration, which is one of the two major points that the council is there for. One of the purposes of council is getting information two ways back and forth, and the other is the council puts on a lot of interesting activities for your benefit. Thank you.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. I took a little different approach because many of the people here don't know me or don't know my background. So I never imagined I would ever be at Woodland Post. I am a first generation child. My mother was born in Scotland, and the only part of the family that really did immigrate. I was raised in a tiny hamlet on eastern Long Island on the North Fork, a little place called Aquabog. My dad was a fisherman. I grew up on the water. I started working at age 12 on the farms and never stopped working. I cleaned motels, I taught water skiing, and a whole bunch of other things. My dad and I actually built the house. I learned a lot. Then I started my college education and professional practice pathway. So that information you can see in the binders of residents, and you can also see that in the Chanticleer. That is almost comprehensive of my interest and my commitment. A year ago, I started attending resident council meetings. First year I was here, been here for 2.5. I went around, I just took the year to get used to the people, to the activities, all of that. And then I settled on the resident council because I was really impressed by the management, the council itself, and the residents and how that system worked together to strengthen this community. That was really important. And it's not always easy. People care very deeply about the pond, as I do, and sometimes will ask difficult questions. What I found, though, is that the council members and management have always said, if they didn't know an answer, I don't know, but I'll find out. That's the kind of honesty and leadership that I'm comfortable with and that I admire. Everyone has a voice. My work has always been caring for others, work that has required responsibility, honesty, commitment, respect for all, and teamwork. Above all, it requires active listening. I'm usually very quiet, but that's how I process information. Okay, so as president of the Board for Emergency Nursing Certification, I worked to take that program, and it went from being here international. And I made space for flight nurses, medical nurses, and military. Locally, I wrote a grant. I love to write grants. And for the food pantry at SUNY Ulster, here at Woodland Pond. Does the new person get 2 sentences? I've basically spent my life creating order from chaos as an emergency nurse, flight nurse, and rescue person. I believe my life experience and skills will help clarify questions and concerns to workable solutions. Put simply, we all live here. This is my community. This is where my heart and my commitment lies. Thank you. Thank you for the extra time.
Welcome. Those of you who know me know that I'm not just a talker, but a doer who gets things done. And I've been getting things done for the residents of Woodland Pond since before even moving in. During the nearly 2 years when our Silver Birch Cottage was being built, I visited Woodland Pond regularly, met many of you, participated in activities, and monitored the construction of our cottage, where I found several construction errors that I helped resolve for the benefit of all 6 new cottages. Since moving into Woodland Pond, I have continued to get things done by becoming the chair of the Physical Plant Committee, a member of the Finance Committee, a member of the Sustainability Energy Task Force, 2 renovation task forces, and attending every resident council meeting. And next week I'll be interviewing Tom Tango here as part of the Council Connection series. I also co-founded the resident LGBTQ+ and Allies interest group, have been active in marketing activities for prospective residents, and I won the ping pong tournament. I've also brought you live theater. Many of you have enjoyed our bi-monthly Joe and Fred Theater Night performances, including our show just last night. Prior to Woodland Pond, I got things done through my career and community involvement. I founded 2 successful businesses. I served on the board of 2 nonprofit theater companies, including as vice president of County Players Theater. I've been involved in many plays. I taught theater on the college level. I've narrated over 100 audiobooks. And I went back to school in my 50s to become a certified sign language interpreter for the deaf. I hope to continue to get more things done for you by becoming a member of the council. I want to make sure that everyone's voice is heard, not just those in the majority, and not just those who speak the loudest or most persistently. But I feel that everyone, wherever they live in the community, has a right to a peaceful, respectful, and fulfilling life in their home and community. I know it's not possible to give everyone everything they want, but we need to really, truly listen to each other and do our best to find solutions that will satisfy everyone. As a member of the council, I will use my people and administrative skills and my tenacity and high energy to make sure that Woodland Pond remains one of the best CCRCs in the country for both current and future residents in this critical time of growth. So let's get good things done together.
And this is the video from Molly Kelly.
My name is Molly Jones, and I'm a candidate for the Residents' Council. I'm sorry I can't be with you in person today. I'm in Maryland with a get-together of high school friends. My husband Tyler and I moved here about a year ago from Poughkeepsie. and we have found Woodland Pond a stimulating place to live, and we've engaged in a number of meaningful activities. I deliver mail in the health center every Tuesday, and I go to the monthly meetings of the Friends of Bill W. I participate in the memoir group and the health and wellness focus group. I enjoy many programs offered in the Performing Arts Center and beyond. I have the energy, interest, and time to involve myself further in how this community works. I am not coming with an agenda to stir things up, but to do my part to see that the voices of the residents continue to be heard by the management. Transparency is important to all of us, and I want to listen to what my neighbors have to say, communicating important suggestions and helping resolve issues that come up from time to time. I have thoroughly familiarized myself with the Residents' Handbook and the operations of the Woodland Pond Residents Association and Council's bylaws, purpose, and operation. As a former newspaper reporter, I'm a good observer and listener with lots of experience. I like to ask questions and find answers, and I think I'm a good communicator. I would be accessible to you, eager to hear what you have to say. In my career, I have also had experience with capital projects, and I am fascinated to see how our expansion plans are developing. After my years in the news business, I worked for the municipality of Anchorage, Alaska, where, as many of you know, I lived with my family for 25 years. In the city's capital projects office, I managed the Art and Public Places program, working with art selection committees, architects, and engineers that resulted in the permanent placement of works of art in dozens of city buildings and schools. I'll be back home at Woodland Pond this coming weekend. Since I can't be with you in person today, I encourage you to find me in the directory and email me or call me if you have any questions or comments. Thank you for listening.
At this point, please join me in congratulating our candidates for president. Now it's your turn. You may have some, whoops, yeah, I was next. You may have some questions, insightful comments, and Sharon is going to come around with the mic. I saw Dave's hand up first.
This is on. I think Molly's something very important, and I'd like to, just by show of hands, have you on the panel read and understand the bylaws, read and understand the residence handbook. Thank you very much. It's not, I've always so thank you. And just one of the things, does anybody, open to everybody, have any specific agenda item that they want to see pushed forward? I'm not talking about controversy, but something we missed, something besides the expansion and renovation?
Okay. You understand the question? Okay.
Bob said maybe the question is confusing. I'm just asking if everybody has a platform, any candidate has a platform, they want to present any agenda item that wasn't spoken of. I know we're going to go through the expansion here. Is there anything else you'd like to see happen concurrently? Something that's not being done now? Or maybe not?
By the council.
I'm sorry? What was that last?
Council actor.
Okay. Well, I think that the council could probably begin to pay a little more attention to the needs of the folks like myself over in the health center, and I hope to be able to facilitate that process. I have no specific agenda item on that regard, but I hope to bring that to the council. The other thing I want to mention is, yes, it's called the Residents' Council, and of course it's concerned with us, the residents, as it should be. But I would like to see a little more attention paid to the importance of the staff here. The staff without which this place would grind to a halt. Now, many of those staff members are young, very young. Many of them, particularly among the dining servers, they're younger than my grandchildren. So that sort of helps put things in perspective. And when we deal with the members of the staff, again, particularly those who are really young, we have to keep in mind that our perspective is mainly through a rather large rear view mirror. They don't even know they have a rear view mirror yet. That's just a metaphor to try to put out the outlook of the respective generations into perspective. So I would just like to encourage us all to ensure that not only do we as residents have a safe, respectful, and enjoyable and interesting life here, but that we try to ensure that our staff members are likewise so treated. Thank you.
Dave, you asked if we have a new thing to work on. There were people here who got into a situation where they felt a little constrained to speak about controversial topics and were feeling that they weren't allowed to express their mind. 3 of us were appointed to go talk with Michelle. And what came out of that discussion was the notion that the council should establish a committee to make decisions about who can come and speak here about what. So I was in on that from the beginning, although I'm not on the council yet. Anyway, I want to continue to be involved in the establishment of the policies which will govern who can be brought here to speak and under what conditions.
I also serve the community on the benefit committee, and one of the things that I think is really important is that we help to fund students in both the nursing assistant programs and in the LPN and onward for their education. As we grow older, and as the expansion project brings in the possibility of people needing more medical help, more nursing care, I would encourage us to really begin to start looking at supporting healthcare programs in this area and to be active in trying to support them. And then having them, it would be an employment opportunity for the pond to be able to nurture those people as students and then have them come back and serve. So that's my concern, is as we age and we're gonna expand our population, we are gonna need more preparation of our healthcare people.
Yes, thank you. I also want to add on to what Carl started speaking about the speakers committee. I've already expressed my interest to the president of the council and to Michelle about being on that committee. I think it's very important that that we have a diversity of voices here, and we don't censor any ideas here. Of course, it has to be done in a very respectful way. We can't do anything which conflicts with the 501c3, in other words, endorsing any specific candidate, but ideas should be free-flowing in a respectful way, and I think that the important part of the Speakers Committee is to encourage ideas from all sides to be presented. And if you don't like what that person is presenting, you don't have to come to that presentation. Go to the ones that you're interested in, or go to the ones that might be different from what your view is, to hear the other side and to stimulate discussion. But I think it's very important to have an open dialogue and not censor people's discussions here. Thank you.
Anyone else for Sharon? Oh, Ann? Ann and Bernice.
Good afternoon. I'm Bernice Leonard. My husband Roger's sitting behind me because we got here a little late. But he's always behind me. We came to Woodland Pond 1 month after it opened. So we have a pretty long history here. And we're very grateful for all the time we've had and all the services that are available. We now, in this early summer, moved over to assisted living. And I want to tell you, there are wonderful staff members over there that we really appreciate. I just wondered, and this may sound a little rude, but how many of you have actually visited in assisted living? Yeah, I just, I'd like to see more of you come over and visit friends like us who have moved over there. And it's like, I feel sometimes like we're a little bit of a community, or I don't know, it's like people feel we're in some way contagious. I don't know which we are. But anyway, my question is, your interest in Woodland Pond, and be sure to, and I'm making a statement, or more than a question, to really visit your friends who are there, because you are always welcome, and in fact, people can exchange and eat in the other dining rooms as well. So, not a question, but a statement. Thank you.
Bernice, thank you very much for saying that. Bernice, like me, became a recent resident of the assisted living, and I'm very happy to see her because when we were all living in independent living, she and my wife and Roger often had dinner together. So anyway, I endorse what she's saying. I find it interesting that I've had probably as many friends from the outside community come visit me as I have friends in independent living. And I respect the fact that some of you, as you have put it in your own words, are fearful of coming over there. And let's not go into why that might be so. It's not for me to decide. But I just endorse the idea that you should try to, whenever possible, overcome whatever fears you have. And come see how we are just like you.
Not so much fears as being comfortable with one day we're going to be over there too. My wife has been there now for several months and I'm happy to say, is very happy with the experience there. I'm thrilled with it. Adding to my 3 minutes, Ann and I moved up here to open a children's camp, which we ran for 20 years. Ann is over there in memory care, and it's as if she's back in camp again. They treat her so well.
I wanted to add, before we even moved in here, we visited the health center. We wanted to see what the whole community was like, and I think everyone should visit the health center, preferably before they move in, so they know what they're getting into. And we were very impressed with what went on over there. We've only been living here a year, so we don't know a lot of people who have come from here and moved over there, but we still have visited. We visited some people in skilled nursing who have been there temporarily. We have, I have myself gone over to assisted living, to some of the activities there. I played cards with some of the people there. I played ping pong with some of the people that came over here. And so it really is a big community. But I think it's important that everyone does go there, at least sees what it's like, so they get rid of that fear of this foreign place over the rainbow.
Ann has the mic.
I have a request for whoever's elected to be on the council, and that is that you open up a channel of communication between yourselves and this population. Month after month, I look at your space in the newsletter, and it's always the same. Tells us when your meetings are. That's not much information. What are you doing that we might like to know about? I'd like to know about it. And not all of us can attend the actual meetings, but surely there's some way that we could open up communication between the residents and the council. Thank you.
Sharon, there's somebody in the back. I can't see who it is. You have their hand up.
Hello. I've never left the classroom, so I want to point out that half of you did not identify who you are. So could you please say your names?
You mean on the panel? They all said.
No.
I'm sorry.
They're going to stand up.
Said they didn't say their names. I thought their names.
Our names are right in front of us, but I admit that those of you sitting way in the back probably can't read them or didn't even notice them. So I will rectify that problem by saying, I'm Larry Randall.
I think I already told you at my introduction that I'm Helen Feuerbach.
You said four and back. Very good.
I am still Carl Rodman.
Stand up!
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I am standing. I am Kathy Kelly the second. Kathy Kelly the first is in the House Center. And she's here. So we became friends the first week that I moved in. And it's been hilarious, and there's a great deal of respect because sometimes we get each other's mail still. It's hard.
You're a C, she's a K.
I am a C, and Kathy does use the K in her name here, but I'm the C. I'm the short one.
And I'm Fred Walensky, as in Fred and Joe Steer Night, or Joe and Fred's Theater Night, as Joe likes to say. And just to end, excuse me?
You're not Dracula?
I'm also Count Dracula, yes. And in response to the question over here, there is an option to come to the council meetings via Zoom if you can't come in person. There also are the minutes, but I think it is a good idea. We do have, I think, quarterly council meetings here, maybe to do something over at the health center every so often, every quarterly, or once every 6 months, once a year, to do a presentation over there. I think that's a very good idea that we should definitely talk about.
It's almost a 3:45. We can break and then go to 6 o'clock, or if you want to break now, it's up to you. All right, just a couple of mechanical points. You can start voting tomorrow. As Alice said, the ballots will be at the concierge. You can start at 9 o'clock. And through the weekend, voting stops on Monday at noon. And then your amazing committee will tally the results, and they'll be in the post office probably Tuesday. Any questions on the mechanics of it? I want to reiterate, if you vote for more than 4 people, your vote is not valid. So please, and then they will come and count and recount and challenge and we don't know. Okay. Yes, Betsy.
Can we vote for 2 votes for 1 person?
No.
No.
What state are you from? Thank you all very much. This has been great.
What was that? I'll be right with you.
Yeah, to visit. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, and I confess I haven't been very much of one. Yeah, and especially if you're newer and you don't know.
Okay.
Yeah. Yes.